Neve here, and today we are doing day 5 of my deck deep dive for the Pacific Northwest Tarot. And all right, so last time we did the cards, the first 6 cards of the Major Arcana, the Fool through the Hierophant, and now we are doing the next 6 cards. So if you haven't seen the other videos, there are 2 before this one, and I will leave links to those down in the description. All right, so we had Fool, Magician, High Priestess, Empress, Emperor, and Hierophant last time. So we are going to move those out of the way. And now we have the Lovers. Let me try to get this all in frame here. Let me move the book out of the way. And it's the same picture as the book. So the Lovers, the Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, and finally Justice. All right, so, and as you can see, this is in the Rider-Waite system, so Strength is 8 and Justice is 11. If you're going to do the same thing for a, let's say, a Marseille deck, Strength and Justice would be switched. But they're in the same day, so there you go. All right, so let's put these in a little pile, and we will start talking about each card. So the Lovers. All right, so I mean, this is a very nice card, and it depicts what we assume to be lovers here, 2 foxes who are probably mating or whatever, or there's some sort of partnership going on. And we do see that there's a level of spring here and autumn here. So there is that duality going on, and we have this is a little hard to see against the green background, but there is a little orange circle here and a white circle here. The white one you can see better against the background. I'm not sure if, yeah, so the orange and the white. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna see what the book says on this, because other than the duality we're seeing here, and of course the fox is in sort of a yin and yang sort of position here, and the 2 different colored circles, there's not much else to read from this. It's 2 foxes. So let's see what the book says. So gray foxes: love, choice, unity, compassion, balance, open communication and vulnerability, a soulmate. I can see vulnerability with the Lovers. Okay, so that's not usually a keyword I see with the Lovers, but that makes a lot of sense. So there we go. I wander the territory, marking what is new and expanding our range. You dig out the den, so I always have a cozy home to return to. I hide in the grasses, trembling when we smell the coyote. You effortlessly ascend the fir tree, where you wait silent and smug until the threat has passed. I chase the rabbits laughing, delighted in the thrill, even if my games occasionally allow our prey to escape. You laugh too, and remember to hide and bury the meat so we can return to feast again. I balance you, you ground me. Excellent. All right, so that was a really good explanation of the Lovers card, and everything seems to fit. So there we go. Well, let's move on to the next one. So the Chariot, and I have this open already. So these are gray whales. Okay, so gray whales. Yeah, I see this as as the Chariot, and I do. I would say that they're different colors, but they're actually the same color, but 2 of them are slightly above water, so where the rest are sort of out of focus, and the colors are melding in with the ocean, whereas the ones just above the surface, we can really see that they are indeed gray whales. And this definitely gives the Chariot energy. Everything's moving forward. And then we also, again, we're seeing 2 circles. I'm not sure if you can see that here, but we do have the 2 circles, just like with the Lovers card. So I can see the symbolism here, and let's see what the book says about the gray whales. So the Chariot: progress, overcoming obstacles, willpower, focus, ambition and determination, achieving goals with ease. The gray whale sighed a low croak of pleasure and exhaustion as, finally, the current began to sweep her forward. The pod had been swimming for days, often fighting against the pushing of swells and pulling of tides. Now the ocean was working with them. As the current shepherded her along, she had only to make subtle shifts in direction, dipping a flipper or arcing her fluke as she navigated parallel to the distant coast. She felt powerful with the strength of the ocean behind her. When she eventually turned out of the current, it was less regret than she might have expected. She found she carried the ocean's strength within her. How, she wondered, could I be the current that carries my pod along? All right, so yeah, a lot of current energy here, and I think that's pretty fitting for the Chariot. So the next card, we have Strength, and I do quite like this. Strength is one of my favorite Major Arcana cards in general. Now, as I said in my like, love, meh video, I did have this card in the meh pile, and honestly, I really only put it there because it's not a very attractive card, and that's just because the salmon is not a very attractive animal. But it's, I still think it's very fitting for the Strength card, because salmon, there is an immense amount of doing things based on instinct, and this cycle of life. A salmon swims up current to the place where they were hatched to lay their eggs, and then continue going and to the place that, like, they purely live by instinct, and I really see the going against the current sort of energy here as embodying strength. So the card, or the book, says perseverance, yeah, there you go, willpower, vitality, calmness in the face of adversity, potency, strength of character, grace and poise. Can strength exist without opposition? The salmon's strength is only necessary, only meaningful when positioned against the current. Strength against all the forces that push back against him, against doubt, against the water, against competition. It is that countering force that gives him the strength to face things directly, to fly upward, to leap. The salmon ponders this, or more likely doesn't, as he charges forward in a single-minded, lustful drive. He is powerful and sure-finned. He is unstoppable by any force within or without. So yeah, I think that was talking about the same things that I was talking about, where the salmon goes against the current, and it, like, with single-minded perseverance to lay her eggs and then go on to her death. Like, there's a single-minded perseverance to this that's really going against all odds to do her life's goal. So yeah, I actually really like this card, and I think it was pretty unfair to put it in the meh pile, but yeah, there we go. And that's kind of the purpose of separating the cards into different piles, because you're kind of it forces you to get over any prejudices you have, and a lot of the cards that I end up putting in the meh pile later on, I find that I quite like them, and I end up maybe even switching them to the love pile, even though I don't usually do that exercise again later on, but in my mind they're in the love pile again. All right, so now we have the Hermit, and this is I think it was a black bear or a brown bear, something like that. False, black bear. But so yeah, and the Hermit is going off to following this guiding star, kind of like that lantern in the traditional Hermit card, a guiding light, and the bear is going off to hibernate in her cave here. And Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for the hermit. So, and we've got this symbolism. We've got the guiding light. We've got the hermit's cave, or the bear's cave, and the bear looking back at us, kind of saying, "This way. This is where you need to go." And yeah, the hermit in general is it's you know. It's emphasizing solitude, but it's also a guiding, a guide, a come this way sort of energy. So let's see what the hermit says. And it is a black bear. So, contemplation, introspection, meditation, removing oneself from society, privacy and self-reflection, patience. To the bear, it felt like the world was shutting down. The land itself was losing vitality. It was growing tired. The days were so short, the sun barely beginning to warm the hard earth before it dipped back below the horizon. Food, warmth, and light were scarce, and so she turned inward. She focused on herself, building up her body with what salmon she could pluck from the river, finding the perfect den from which she could cozily watch the mid-afternoon sunsets. She closed off from the darkening world. She would face it again when she was ready for it, and when it was again ready for her. All right, so I think this card did a very good job conveying what the meaning of the hermit is. So there we go. This is an interesting card, the Wheel of Fortune. And because at first glance, it's hard to see what exactly this is, but it is a snail, and we're seeing the spiral, the natural spiral of the snail. Sort of a Fibonacci thing going on here. And then, of course, we've got the circle around, indicating the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, so I think this is quite fitting for the Wheel of Fortune. All right, so the black turban snail. Fate, chance, fortune. Karma, justice, a cycle, a reversal, or a revolution. The wheel turns, and the snail cannot stop it. They cannot steer it or slow it or adjust its course in any way. They are along for the ride. They are powerless upon it. Attacked by they knew not what. As they climbed the rocky slope, they retreated into their shell. Desperate, they sacrificed their foot, detached it, paid it as toll for continued existence. With nothing to secure it, their shell began rolling like a die cast down the slope, carrying them to safety or demise, their fate tied to the turning of the wheel. So my feeling on this card, it goes back to when I was doing the 3 piles, and my least favorite card in the deck was the World. And when I read the book for the World, I also was a little bit I don't know. I guess the description for the World card was a lot of what I see as the meaning for the Wheel of Fortune, which is a sort of cycle of life and death and fate, and everything's going how it's supposed to be going right now. Not that I really believe in fate per se. That's a complicated subject for I guess another video, but sort of like I see the Wheel of Fortune as events happening that you really don't have control over, and this is a natural cycle of what's going on. And we see that here with not only the shape of the spiral here of the shell, but also the snail is shedding its shell, and in this description here. So it is another natural cycle of things going on. And so yeah, I think this description here is pretty spot on for what the Wheel of Fortune means for me. All right, Justice. And this is the last of this set of cards here. So, Justice. We have the scales here, and this is also my this is my birth, my astrological card, because I am, my sun is in Libra. So, and here we have justice here, and we've got the scales. And we have this sort of owl or hawk. Let me actually look real quick to see what this is. I don't want to say the wrong animal. Oh, it's an osprey. Okay, so it's an osprey. So a type of predator bird here, and it's caught its fish here, and there's a sort of justice going on. Yeah, and I like how even the wings are. Yes, it does give me a general feeling of balance and justice going on. So the book says justice, truth, law, fairness, consequences, accountability, honesty. And I did find this interesting. This seems to be the only card in this entire deck, as far as I can tell. I mean, we'll go through each card, but this seems to be the only card in the book where they give reversed meanings. Now, I don't read reversals usually for, in general, and that's just a personal preference. I think there is enough meanings of each card that I don't really need reversals. That's just my personal preference, and there's nothing wrong with using reversals. But it does give the reverse meanings as being injustice, unfairness, bias, bigotry, corruption, dishonesty, lack of accountability, and retribution. That's just the opposite meaning of these. So I'm not exactly sure why Brendan Marnell, the creator of this deck, chose to keep the reversed meanings in for justice. Maybe we'll find out reading this. So, shining scales, a blindfold, a gleaming blade. That's what people always picture when they think of justice. Two of these made sense to the osprey. Her talons were as sharp as any sword and equally capable of meting, or meting, meting, out consequences. And she clutched a set of scales, slivery ones that rippled along the length of the trout as it gasped and flexed and panicked. But a blindfold? Nah, the osprey needed to see things clearly, without occlusions. How else could she hover above the teeming population of the river and know which individuals to let alone, and how to know when to drop from the sky like an executioner's blade and seize another into her cold grasp? So there's a symbolism that I didn't initially say here. Traditionally, the Justice card has a blindfold, where I believe in the original imagery, only one eye is covered. So it's a sort of blind justice, but also seeing clearly, if that makes sense. Yeah, so they're saying that the shining scales of the fish are acting as a blindfold and sort of reflecting the light of the sun, making it difficult to see which one to see the fish. But the osprey has a keen sense of vision and is able to find the fish that it wants. And there's a sense of justice in this, and or fairness rather, not justice, but fairness in this, in that the osprey is not catching every fish it can. It's being very selective. So very interesting. All right, so now we are going to do the 2 readings for each card, 2 sample readings, and here we go. Okay, so I've first got to shuffle the cards, and I'm going to put the first 6 back in here. All right, let's shuffle. All right, so I've shuffled this a few times, and let's pull some cards here. So we've got the 8 of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles surrounding the lovers. Okay, so we've got two very opposing energies here. We've got this hurried energy of the Eight of Wands, just rapid news or rapid information, or things just a flutter of activity. And I also sort of see this very much in line with the Birds card from Lenormand decks, where it's kind of this busyness and this lots of chatter and energy and chaos is kind of how I'm seeing this Eight of Wands here. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is a much more, it's moving ahead, it's doing action, but there's a lot of caution behind it. So we've got this hurried energy with this cautious energy. And then we have Lovers in the middle, where I feel like here are two energies that are trying to even out and come together seamlessly and in balance. And yeah, that's how I would see this. So yeah, there we go. So the next reading, we've got the Two of Pentacles, and speaking of balance, and we have the Four of Swords. So, just off the top of my head here, I would sort of see this as relying on your partner or someone in your life that tends to be a partner type figure for you, to help ease the load. Because here, I mean, easing the load or something like that. I mean, we could see that with the Ten of Wands or something like that. But with the Two of Pentacles, there's a lot of things juggling in the air right now. There's a lot of things on your plate, and you're really trying to balance things out. And I think a partner or someone close to you can come in and help take off some of the pressure, some of the things up in the air, some of those juggling seeds here, and take some of that upon themselves so that you can rest and recuperate and build your strength again. And that's how I would see this reading. All right, so let's do the next card. So we got the Chariot, and we got the Two of Wands, and we have Temperance. Wow. Okay. So we've got a lot of this heading into action right here. But we've got this idea forming here, and we've got paths to take, and we're heading into action. And I think Temperance is sort of just having us, it's kind of slowing down this Chariot. The Chariot is going in, and like we've got this. We're starting off with the Two of Wands, which is sort of this readiness. We have the idea. We're ready to, we're just on that precipice of jumping off into this idea we have, and this progress we'd like to make. And then we have the Chariot, which is making that progress. We've got the decisions here, the planning, and progress, and this is also progress. But Temperance is sort of slowing things down just a little bit and saying that we got to look at some of those decisions again, be very mindful of those decisions we're making, and I mean, and then we've got this general energy of balance going on. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. Decisions and progress here as well, and that determination going on here. But a kind of tempering that a bit and saying, okay, slow down just a little bit here. All right, so let's see what the next two would be. We've got the Page of Wands, or the King of Wands, excuse me, the King of Wands, and we have the Magician. Wow. So talk about a lot of like leader type energies going on here. I mean, here is a true leader, the King of Wands. He is the like, follow me. I know exactly what needs to be done. I'm in charge, and I'm bringing this fiery energy to this project, this situation, and here he is leading that charge. And he is here's the majestic Magician, has everything under control, has all the tasks. Like, this is like straight up leadership energy here. So that's definitely how I would see this. All right, so now let's do the next card. We've got Strength, So let's see. We have the Five of Swords and we have the Seven of Cups. Very interesting. So I would say, because the Five of Swords is like a card of conflict and more it's a bit different than the Five of Wands, where the Five of Wands can sometimes be a friendly competition, or it's something like that, where the Five of Swords, I think, is a bit more ruthless. There's a ruthless competition going on, but strength is saying to persevere, to have strength, to keep going against this current that's pushing back at you, and fighting and continuing to stay here, sticking this out, because in the end we're going to have our pick of our dreams. We're going to have the pick of our choice. Everything's right here in front of us, and we just need to get to that point. But the thing with the Seven of Cups, though, we have our pick of choices here, but it is going to be difficult to choose. So there is sort of that a difficulty in choosing here, but I would see this as a general sticking it out. This Five of Swords energy, this ruthless competition, this ruthless sort of hostility, and even if you are defeated here, like, to stick it out, because there will be choices in the future of something possibly better, of your dreams, of things you've been aspiring to. All right, so, oops, let's do the next two cards here. We have the Page of Pentacles, and we have the King of Pentacles. Wow, so, I mean, I would really see this as a progression of just starting out in something, and really learning and sticking it out. Again, with the last reading, I get the same sort of feeling here, sticking it out and continuing to grow and progress. And it is coming to a King of Pentacles sort of situation. And I love this card. It's so pretty. I really like the King of Pentacles. I would say it's my second favorite in the deck. But this, I really do see this as sort of a progression of novice to expert, and with strength in the middle, it's really saying this progression is achievable through perseverance. So there we go. So now let's do the next card, and we have the Hermit, and with the Three of Swords and the Fool. Wow. Okay, so I think, you know, a lot of times we see the Three of Swords as being kind of that heartbreak card, or being betrayed, or something along those lines. And something like this could have happened. And after experiencing this heartbreak, we're retreating and kind of closing ourselves off, doing some self-reflection, and emerging with sort of this, you know, I almost sort of see this as sort of a rebound energy, being heartbroken, having your heart broken, something like that, and kind of retreating for a while, and then coming out of that cave just ready to jump off that cliff. And I know there's not really a cliff here going on, but like ready to jump out there. And I believe from the book, it said that the otter here is leaving the comforts of home, leaving the comforts of his community, and just getting himself out there. And so I do sort of feel like this, in this sort of situation, this could be tricky, because we've got a heartbreak, this isolation for a while, and then just jumping right out there, sort of on the rebound. So yeah, that's how I would read this. Okay, and then we have the Eight of Cups and the Two of Cups. All right, so wow, similar energy to the last reading. This person is sort of shedding their skin, this lizard here. It's leaving behind those turned over cups, because there's, I don't know if you can see on this camera here, but there's 6 cups that are turned upside down. That's what we're leaving behind, but we're heading towards something with hope. There's 2 cups upright here in the horizon, and the lizard is leaving behind his shedded skin, what doesn't work for him anymore. And there's a lot of self-reflection going on with the Hermit, and but it is leading to a prosperous partnership. So sort of leaving behind what is not working is headed toward and working on yourself. It is makes your relationships better. Your working on yourself really helps you to just to be a better person, is kind of how I would see this. A sort of getting rid of that self that you were before, and working on yourself to become a better partner, a better lover, a better friend. Yeah, that's how I would see that. Okay, so the next card is the Wheel of Fortune, and we have the Three of Wands, and we have the Devil. Wow. Okay, so with the Three of Wands, we have this sort of, I wouldn't say a burst of energy. It's right after the Two of Wands, where where the bird, and it is the same actual bird. It's the same breed. It's of bird, same species. I mean. And in fact, I believe it is the same bird. And with the Two of Wands, it's just on that precipice, about to jump off. It's ready to go. It's planning and carefully picking its moment to jump off that cliff. And here with the Three of Wands, she or he has jumped off that cliff, and it is just jumping straight into something, and there's a huge amount of early success and like opportunity, and just took that opportunity and is running with it, or flying in this case. And the Wheel of Fortune is saying that the natural progression of this is leading to the Devil, and the Devil is a card of temptation and obsession, excess, and I think this reading would say that be careful of being too one-sided, of going straight into this way, because the natural progression of that is going to lead to an obsession. And yeah, so that's how I would read that. That's how I see the Wheel of Fortune, as sort of a natural progression. All right, so then we have the High Priestess, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Seven of Swords. Very interesting. So we can, the High Priestess has a lot to do with like mystery and secrets, hidden knowledge, and also intuition, and then with the Seven of Swords, it could be sneakiness, deceit, thievery, but also like a cunning behavior or a smart strategy, something like that. It's not necessarily negative. And this, having hidden knowledge about something is leading to, the natural progression of this is that it leads to some sneakery going on, and that the High Priestess energy knows something that others don't, and is using that knowledge to get one over on others. And that is the natural progression here going on. Now, for the potential client, or the person the reading is for, they could be the person doing the deceit, doing the or not necessarily even deceit, but using that hidden knowledge to their advantage to win, or to win, or get one over, or and that's all sounds so negative, and I don't necessarily mean it in a negative way. Or if it's not about the client itself, or a warning to the client, like pay attention to this is a natural progression. It could be telling the client that, hey, there's something underneath going on, and you might be scammed. There's some hidden fees, hidden information that you really need to pay attention to. So that could be the case as well. So, all right. And then I think our last card, yes, is Justice. So we have the Nine of Cups. Nice. And the King of Cups. Wow. So I think someone's getting their just desserts here, and in a good way. Like some very good consequences have happened from rightful justice. So we've got this plenty, having plenty. Yeah, and in abundance, and being sort of in a master of that, and master of your emotions, and yeah, I really see that here. And I just think, for me, this just seems like some very good consequences happening that are just. Very good things happening that were, I wouldn't say meant to happen, but your like, just, so my words, I'm stumbling over my words here, but and like, so the King of Cups is a very diplomatic person, very in charge of their feelings. I could almost see this as being someone who is a lawyer who has successfully negotiated, if we're taking justice as being literal here, and we're talking about the legal profession, where the diplomatic lawyer has successfully argued their case, and there's a big payout here. There's a big, you know, yeah, there's a lot being achieved here, I guess, through some skillful negotiation and measured emotions. So there we go. And I think we are ready for our last reading here. Oh, the Hierophant and the Nine of Wands. Very interesting. So, I mean, the law has spoken here. You know, going back to that legal reference, the Hierophant and Justice, this is like the judge here, like an authority figure has spoken and brought the justice, and now we, the client or whomever, are sort of suffering the consequences here. But it's something that was supposed to happen. It's an ouch moment. The 9 is the wounded warrior, and that is a phrase that I got from Tarot Oracle here on YouTube. And that phrasing, 9 of the wounded warrior, just really stuck with me on one of his old videos that I saw. That every time I see the 9 of Wands now, I think wounded warrior, and it's just a perfect keyword, or key phrase rather, because it's 2 words. But I mean, we've got the Hierophant here, who is like the judge, like the authority figure here has spoken and has judged you, or the person this is about, and you know, it's some harsh truths, and it's, the law has been laid down, and it hurts. But we're still standing, we're still moving, and sometimes life is tough like that. Sometimes we make mistakes, and we just need to be put in our place, you know. And I would say that this is an ouch reading, but probably a needed reading for all of us sometimes. All right, so that is it for the next 6 cards. I will see you in the next video when we do the next 6 cards of the Major Arcana. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.